You don't expect to not explode at some point. You have to release, you have to sit with your emotions, you have to be real with yourself, get to know yourself, get to know your triggers, get to know what makes you angry, what makes you anxious, and be real about them. Okay, I'm honestly very anxious right now, but I know it's just my anxiety talking. It's not my inability to perform, it's not my inability to do that thing and execute. It's just my anxiety, it's just my thoughts, it's just in my head. It's okay, I'm fine, I'm just a bit anxious. Hey loves, welcome back to another episode of Face to Soul Sessions with yours truly. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing how it is okay to grieve the life that you thought you would have had. This one is very personal to me because I had a lot of expectations for how my life would have been by this age. Well, even a little before that. One of my goals was to be engaged by 23 and to be married by 24 and to have kids by 25. That was my goal for how I wanted my life to turn out, right? Didn't happen that way, and I'm kind of back to square one. It puts you in a space of, okay, where do I go from here now? Because we give ourselves goals, which is fine, you can give yourself goals, but sometimes I feel like some goals are just a bit unrealistic to the situation that you're in. So for me, I've been grieving the life that I thought I would have had by this age, because the deadline for me to be married would have been now, around this time. The structure of everything would have been a lot different now, all that stuff, but it didn't happen that way, which is fine. Now I can talk about it without getting in my feelings or crying. It does weigh on me sometimes, but I had a therapy session with my therapist and we discussed that we need to get rid of the should haves and replace it with the could haves, because we tend to say things like we should be such and such by this age, we should be doing XYZ by this age, should, and we put these pressures and limits on what we could be doing instead. We shouldn't put limitations on what we should be doing, because life is unpredictable. Yes, you can have a goal, yes, you can have things that you want to achieve, but to set a strict timeline on where we should be at such ages, I feel like is unrealistic. I'm trying to replace my shoulds with my coulds now, and it does help because the pressure is not there. There's always this pressure to attain this type of success by such young ages. And in my last episode, I talked about career, I talked about love, I talked about different things and the taboos surrounding what we should be doing at certain ages. I don't think it's realistic. I think it's okay to grieve a life that you thought that you would have by now. It's okay to feel like you should be doing more, but you're doing what you can with what you can. You're doing what you can with what you're capable of doing. The mental strength, the capacity that you have. Yes, push yourself, but don't push yourself into a burnout. Don't push yourself into depression. Don't push yourself into a place where you can't come out of, a dark space, because then it takes time for you to really retrain your mind to think that, okay, this is just a season. This is not a permanent fixated situation. While it's okay to grieve a life that you thought that you would have by a certain age, it's not okay to doubt yourself. It's not okay to blame yourself. It's not okay to belittle yourself, because we're human beings. This is not a race to who can finish first. This is not a race to do anything really. It's a course, it's a journey, it's a path that you take, and it's your own journey. There's no such thing as you have to do this or else. No. You do what you can with what you have. You push yourself to how much you can go, right? Don't push yourself to the point where you're just burnt out and depressed and unable to just get yourself back. Grief is a serious thing. Some days you may feel like you're on the top of the world, and other days you would feel like you're 6 feet under, right? And it's okay, it happens to the best of us, but every day we get up and we have to try to at least put our feet in front of us. Every day we should be getting up and trying to see where we can go next. So what can I do today to help me boost my mood? What can I do today to make things a little bit easier for me? What can I do today? You know, what can I do today? It doesn't have to be anything huge, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could just be like getting up and going for a morning walk. It could be going for a run. It could be going to the gym. It could be going for a swim in the morning before you start your day. It could be just sitting out in the sun to catch some vitamin D so that you can, you know, go about your day. Because I noticed that when you stay in your room, like me, when you're always in your room in the darkness and just to yourself, it can get lonely. It's easier for you to get depressed and sad and lonely like that. But I notice when I go out for walks or just, you know, stroll around in my gut or just come out on the balcony, on the porch, and take some sun and, you know, taking the fresh air, the vitamin D and all that stuff, it gives me a bit of a boost and it feels a lot better to carry on with my day. But yeah, all that to say is we have different expectations, we have different goals, we have different calibers for success. But just remember that no matter what you thought your life would have been now, it doesn't mean that it can't always be that way. It's just gonna take a different amount of time. It's gonna take more time, and that's okay. And grief is not linear. Like I was saying, one day you're gonna feel like you're so good, and then the other day is like it. And sometimes it could be in the same day that you feel good, and then boom, it's like what's going on, you know? And that's how grief is. It sneaks up on you. Some days you might find yourself crying in public. Some days you might find yourself nonverbal. Some days you might find yourself very angry and very snappy at people. But that's what grief is. It's not linear. And sometimes it takes some people longer, and sometimes it just takes a shorter period of time. Grief doesn't have a timestamp. But to properly grieve, in my opinion, and which is what I've been trying to do, properly grieve and to properly heal is to be real with yourself. Sit in your pain, sit in your sadness, sit in that feeling of loneliness, but know that you could come out, you will come out on the other side if you really know that, okay, this is just a period of mourning. This is my reality, but it doesn't have to be my reality forever. I will pull myself out of this space when it's right, when the time is right. Take that time to grieve. Take that time to cry your eyes out. Take that time to pray. Ask God to heal your heart and heal your mind and to release some of that pain. Because yes, pray, but also sit with it. We have to learn how to sit with our pain, because that is the most authentic and the quickest way, really, is the quickest way to heal, is the quickest way to mourn, is the quickest way to grieve, is to be real with yourself, be real with your feelings. Talk to yourself, talk to God, like just talk. If something is hurting you and bothering you, say it out loud. Say that, okay, honestly, this kind of hurt my feelings. And don't think that don't try to be hard, don't try to make it seem like it doesn't affect you. That's the worst way to heal, because now you're just suppressing your emotions as opposed to releasing your emotions. We all need some sort of release, right? You can't keep things bottled up forever and not expect the pressure to burst the box. Don't expect to not explode at some point. You have to release. You have to sit with your emotions. You have to be real with yourself. Get to know yourself. Get to know your triggers. Get to know what makes you angry, what makes you anxious, and be real about them. Okay, I'm honestly very anxious right now, but I know it's just my anxiety talking. It's not my inability to perform. It's not my inability to do that thing and execute. It's just my anxiety. It's just my thoughts. It's just in my head. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm just a bit anxious, and try to get through it. Same goes for if you're angry. Honestly, this made me so angry. It made me so angry. Try to find out the root cause of that anger. Why did it make you angry? Take some time. My therapist taught me to really just take deep breaths before responding and engaging in a situation that makes you angry. I got a call and I completely forgot what I was saying, but yeah, so it's okay to sit with your pain. I learned that a couple years ago, that it's okay to sit with the pain. It's okay to go through things. I mean, you're not invincible, you're not made of steel. If you act like you're made of steel, then something must be wrong, because we're not made of steel. We were not created to be made of steel, and we have emotions. It's okay to release those emotions and to not let them be pent up inside of you, because eventually you will explode. So I think that is it for this episode of Face to Soul Sessions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Face to Soul Sessions episodes. If you enjoyed this video, also please leave it in the comment section down below. Share it on your stories, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, wherever, and I'll see you guys in the next one.